Presenting a really well-published poet to you, Abdolrezaei. And those of you who were here earlier on, I mentioned, I was garbling on about there being 3 poets and possibly 3.5 poets. Well, Ali has got a translator with him, Abol. Over in the bar, I was listening to Abol speaking a few poetic lines in English, and actually he's a poet as well. So really it's almost like we've got an evening of 4 poets. Just waiting for the stage to get to it. Yeah, say bye to Sivan, because it was a really good set. Fantastic music. Thank you. It's really good to hear kind of progressive music making from these roots, these worldwide roots. Brilliant stuff. Okay, Ali Abdolrezaei. I'm going to pass my mic to him so he's got a nice, shouty, clear speaking voice. Give him a big hand.
My name is Abol Froushan. I write poetry, I translate Ali. I have I think Ali, I think it suffices to say that he's written 31 books in poetry. I've known Ali for over 5 years, translating him. We've together prepared about 5 books, 2 of which have been published and translated. His books have been translated in other languages like German, Spanish, Arabic, Urdu, Turkish, the list goes on. Kurdish, French, Dutch, Chinese, etc. For the last 2 years, Ali has started actually writing poems in English, short poems, but nevertheless, we'll concentrate on some of my translations of his poems in English, but between these, he will be reading some of his poems in English. And his poems basically pursue drivers in the kind of language, reaching out towards a sort of global poetry, spreading, reflecting life in the global village, creating discourse between languages and cultures, composing polyphonic, polymorphic poetry, employing a multiplicity of genres from theatrical narrative to photography, drama, minimal stories,
etc. بر صفحه‌ای که عمری در نمیدانم گشت، چقدر بنویسم شعری را که هرگز نخواهم نوشت. قطعاً گروه خونی لندن که حتما باید او باشد، یا به من نمیخورد که هی میروم زیر باران و آب میخورم. عجب سمایی دارد این فکر که در سر دارم. یکی بیاید باز دارد این صوفی را که هی چرخ میخورد در سرم. بارانی که دارد میآید دیگر به شعرم نمی آید. این ملعون اشک همه را در آورده است. این بازپرس، این که از ابرهای بالای سر لندن این همه حرف میکشد بیرون. آیا کسی آن بالا بیکار است، یا حقیقت دارد که باران دارد هنوز میبارد؟ ما همه میمیریم، پس چیزی تمام نمیشود. افسوس.
This dry tree, how has it arranged itself so well under the rain to stand up? The pomegranate that's hanging Why should someone squeeze who knows nothing? Why the rain that should rain down in this poem doesn't rain? And life, this short lullaby, finally puts me to sleep on a page that spent a life in I don't know. How many times should I write the poem that I'll never write? I'm sure London's blood group, which most likely is O or doesn't match mine, because I keep hitting the rain, keep getting wet. What ecstasy revolves round this thought that's in my head? I wish someone came to stop this dervish that keeps twirling in my head. The rain that keeps raining no longer comes to my poem. This cursed beast has brought tears to all eyes. This grand inquisitor who drags so much out of the clouds in London. Is someone idling up there? Or is it true that it's still raining? We all die, so nothing ends. What a shame. Censorship. In the massacre of my words, they beheaded my last line, and blood, ink-like, is hitting on paper. There's death stretched over the page, and life, like a window ajar, is shattered by a rock. A new gun has finished off the world, and I, imported goods-like through this alley's doors, am still the very meagre page that emigrated. I, in my life, who am pen-like to the lines of this meagre page, am mother. The cat's paws are still prancing to scare the mouse, running for the hole they filled. In pursuit of the lesson I did at school, I'm no longer Jack the lover to my Jill. I'm doing my new homework, you cross it out. And in the girl who will tumble at this poem's end, build a house filled with a door opened like a wound. And from in between the edges of death, like a room gone from this house, lived happily a girl who, wanting to make me her own, would throw morsels in her voice to tease me over to the temple of her body, for my eyes to keep whirling and whirling, to make a dervish of me again. How the eyes, those empty sockets in between the love-making of two, are thousand-handed. How this side of being where I am is all the more other-sided in Iran. Fathered, mothered, my brothered, my condition is more critical than hurt, writings more emasculated than me, and London, with its hair highlights of a weather, is still sisterly awaiting. Death to stretch over my body, for life to kill me again. My heart is bleeding for the poet whose queue of words is getting longer, for the branchless sparrow who swallowed its twitter, for the restitution of a crow with no overhead wire, for myself, gone from the house like electricity. I was somebody, did the foolish thing, became a poet.
I read some short poems that I wrote during last years. One. You're so alone. Hey moon, how many lovers have you left? A naked woman lying on the sand, waves licking the beach. Jealous moon. I've fallen in love. An apple from the tree as well. Looking for a forest in Covent Garden and a walk with you. Repeating you fills my house. I'm not alone.
Albert, this is my mum. Isn't she beautiful? This is my brother, and this my father. If only he knew how door to door I am now. Poor innocent thing. This one is Sarah the youngest. This smiley face also. Can't remember the name. Exile. What havoc it wreaks on the memory. She's my elder sister. She used to pass out laughing when shooting pictures. I'm at a loss how these pictures of lips that have smiled are movies of eyes that have cried. Leave it. But how mixed up I am. Poor dear, my peasant mum. If freedom ever paid Iran a visit, I'd become my father's new bride, and after breakfast my sister will burn frankincense to smudge around my head and dispel the bad eye. And I having a Layla in the night most, and my mum, while boasting, will be throwing confetti and ululating in the paddy at the bottom of the garden, so her son may eye up the lap of this lass and be turned on. I'm turned on. Now that we're enthralled shoulder to shoulder in the halls of this house, why not make believe we're wrapped in the bliss of rice paddies? Let go.
Leave me alone. Don't kiss me. The translation of baby's cry. There is no fruit on the branches of a poem. Find the root. Rose on river, then poem on letter, both without destination. Next one. Falling leaves, read haiku on each one.
There's a ritual in northern Iran where relatives, usually mothers and sisters, see off the travelling family member by spilling water behind them. This poem is called Banished. On this side of the world, even if you had a living son, it would be a son on this side of the world, who went in the direction of the water that you spilled behind the tears. Never mind. Pointlessly you walk across my mind. If you were here, you would no longer be the one over there. You'd be like me, over here. If I returned, I would no longer be the one over here. I would be like you, over there. I no longer laugh, nor even go off. I only exercise my own loneliness, like now that I feel fine, and I imagine I'm imaginatively alone. Never mind. On that side of the world, even if I had a living mother, it would be a mother on that side of the world.
She's angrily got off my car, a windscreen wiper instead of her hand, wiping my eyes. Your red hair in the wind, that's the only flag I like. Soldiers fight under a flag, the flag that only obeys the wind. Love is the blind you help cross the street. not knowing you're the one who crossed. You're leaving me, our little dark box. Isn't that enough?
According to a Persian myth of creation, the earth rotates on the horn of a bull. Legend had it that if the bull coughed, the earth would slip off its horns, causing an earthquake. Earthquake. She raises a finger. Excuse me, teacher. If the holy cow slips, tin roofs falling over, under lots of iron beams, would we always die? The teacher, a tremor slipping down his face, pulled the pocket bottoms off his hands, and heavens fell down on the nth class. Crushed benches, lessons fallen from children's hands, and the walls, what dreams they harboured for the inhabitants. Except for a hand that appeared out of the rubble, rose the sound of a finger. Excuse me, sir, may I rise up? Circle? You're reading a poem called Circle. Hold it there. Hands off the library. Arm around the windows and the doors. Bedding into the sofa. Now you may read a poem by Abdolrezaei. Please open the book. You see, you're reading a poem called Circle. So hold it there. Take your hands off the library. Kick the door you already opened out of the house. Tumble down the stairs, in the new park or the old one behind the town hall, on the same bench that sent my father door to door and stopped my mother. Sit down. Tell them off, those children playing ball. Now you may read a poem by Abdolrezaei. Please turn the page of this gate whichever way you like. It's a shame. You're standing at the end of a poem called Circle.
Some white drops on her belly, wiped with a white cat. A haiku movie. My right hand on her body land, a tourist without visa. A tiger fell from the peak. The lunar eclipse was sudden. A little lamb separated from the herd runs fast. The butcher is waiting.
Dark veins. You are shot there, so your red cells flower in Freedom Avenue. You die, so snow with its white cells soft and softly shroud you, hide you, so an ill wind won't blow to steal you who were not one of them. You are not one of them. Your arteries are arteries of a city. That which beats in Revolution Square is still your heart, which sends off one by one all taxis down any street that leads like a dark vein toward my heart that is in Freedom Square. We both fight in the same street. You are shot there. I die here.
The husband kicked her out in her womb. The baby was kicking back. She was hot, very hot.
on your canvas, take a seat on the chair from Poland, and I, in the expanse of this park, am sat, waiting on this half-empty bench. Hurry up! Put a few somewhat yellow tips of branches by the grey sky you paint at the top of the sheet. A background of few naked trees with few leaves in the air will be excellent. Now, install a bench at the bottom of the sheet and paint a man, sat waiting, love-stricken. This, his love, has not come, so put some lines on his face. She's not coming. Some more face lines, please. Won't come, so please, some more still. Just come inside the frame yourself and put my mind at ease.
A pair of shoes full of rain. The refugee sleeping on the pavement. Don't kill so many soldiers to save a king. I hate playing chess. Kings are gone, but they still play chess.
Poem. I was planting a poem when suddenly a tapping on the door got me jumping out of the sofa and my wife's flower pot, and in the silence splashed on the water. I heard the key turn in the lock, the door turn on the hinge. My own face behind the door I found facing me like the mirror the other day. He, still ringing the bell, unwelcome like the other day. He came in, shook my hand, and with the same hand that shut the door, threw me out of the house. I'm not one for turning back on this short poem. I'm stuck outside the front door and keep ringing, knowing the last line is waiting behind this threshold.
Writing in English is not my fault. Everywhere that I fly, it's only Persian sky. I'm at home. A poem comes. Home is a noun now. A fly. Sorry.
After you, please. I can't figure it there.
Geometry. As I poured out of Paris clouds and flew to an airport cafe that sat face to face with two black symbols under two eyebrows, I had only read 2 lines on the forehead when I arrived at a black subtitle which the hairdresser up the road had censored in 2 short line segments in a fine font. Above 2 symbols set in Chinese, vertical writing as one knows, "You have 2 very lips that want to swallow me." You know, prettier than Langerood, Tehran or Paris, like other women I divorced, I'll separate from you too, London.
Poetry. Poetry is at times an actress. Poetry is at times an actress in the toilet called the world. Poetry is a woman. Poetry is a woman who revolts against a mirror. Writing on your face made me a poet without lips. Finished? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Abol.
Thank you.
Ali.
Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, it's good, strong stuff. I like the haikus. The haikus are good. Yeah.